Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tavern Tales. Today, we got a great episode. We are looking at the story of Lunar New Year. Now, technically, Lunar New Year has passed by the time this video is up because it's a 15-day festival, ending with the more traditional fireworks, parade, and all that, and beginning with a lot of family stuff. First off, Lunar New Year begins on the second new moon after the winter solstice, usually placing the start point somewhere in late January, early February. The festival then goes on for 15 days. As I said, it's quite an interesting festival if you've ever been to one. The fireworks, the parade, all that, it's wonderful. However, historically, it did not exactly begin the way it is now. During the Qing Dynasty, there were little events occurring around this time where you would do sacrifices to the gods and to your ancestors in order to hope that you will have good luck, prosperity, and what have you throughout the year. However, in the Zhou Dynasty, things change a bit. During this time period, the legend was tied into the beginnings of spring, thus giving us the Spring Festival moniker it sometimes has. In addition to that, a legend was built as to why people celebrate the way they do. This is the story of Nian, a giant beast who would go town to town, eating people's livestock, tearing apart their houses, and causing rampant destruction and death. Until a wise man came up and figured out that Nian had two weaknesses. The first was the loud noises, and the second, the color red. So from that point forward, the usage of red lanterns, putting red scrolls in the house, wearing red or providing gifts with the color red associated became a major thing. The second part became making noise. Initially, this was things like slapping bamboo sticks against each other, playing loud music, or even burning bamboo to make loud crackling noises in order to scare him away during the time of this festival. The Han Dynasty started setting up the main calendar based on this celebration. And by the time you got to the Jin and Wei Dynasties, you started having larger celebrations and more exciting festivals. When we finally get to the Qing Dynasty, the celebration is a lot closer to what we have now, with parades, fireworks, things along those lines. It's very much the modern version. This time period also helped swap it to more of a secular festival and less connected to the gods and to ancestor worship, as it had been in its early days. No matter how you want to look at it, though, the festival in one form or another has existed for over 3,500 years, which is freaking impressive considering how few holidays have a history that long. But that isn't the whole story. After all, anyone who might be familiar with these festivals knows that each year is represented by a different animal. And that is the next story, and one of the more fun ones I've had to come across while studying mythology. Our story begins with the Jade Emperor. For his birthday celebration, he wanted a grand race between all the various animals as a spectacle for all to see. The race was a rough course ending with a large, wide, fast-moving river. And two of the animals that were originally friends, the cat and the rat, both knew that they were terrible swimmers and probably couldn't complete the race. So they tried to find different ways of solving this problem. Now here's a little divergency in the telling of the story. In one version, the rat and the cat decided that if they rode on the back of an ox, they could make it there safely, and thus they did so. However, partway through the river, the rat realized that the cat was faster than him and would probably be the winner. Being the sneaky monster that it is, I don't like rats. It ended up pushing the cat off the ox, so he fell in the river and was swept away. In the other version of the story, the rat discovers that the ox is the way to go, and instead of telling his friend the cat, just runs up the ox's back and goes for the remainder of the race, with the cat being left behind. Either way, the cat cannot complete the race in the main telling of the story. The ox, being steadfast, sturdy, and not getting distracted by anything, made its way across the river with no problem. As it made it to land, the rat jumped off his back, made a mad dash, to the finish line to be the first to cross. Then the ox followed. After the ox came the tiger, who was slowed down by the river but still made it there on time. Then we have the rabbit, who discovered an easy way to get across the river, jumping from the backs of different things, across rocks, across whatever it could, until, unfortunately, in his haste, the rabbit slipped and nearly got swept away, except for he grabbed hold of a log, and the log slowly made its way closer to the shore. He jumped from the log onto the shore and dashed to the finish line, being the fourth to cross. Then we have the dragon. Now, many people thought the dragon would win because he could fly. However, as he traveled the course, he saw people in trouble and helped them. Not only that, but as he was flying over the river, he noticed the poor bunny rabbit almost sailing away and did a poof of breath to push the log of the rabbit closer to shore so the rabbit could complete the race. After that, the dragon crossed, being the fifth. The snake, knowing he wasn't a good swimmer, decided to find a way across the river. And to do so, he snuck along the leg of the horse onto its back. As the horse crossed the river, the snake was safe. As it made it to land, the snake fell from its back and started slithering towards the goal, and the horse got scared of the snake and stumbled backwards. The snake then made it the sixth across the finish line, and the horse, gaining its senses, made a dash for the finish line and came in number 7. Then we have the rooster, the monkey, and the sheep. All three of them decided to work together to cross the river. The rooster found a raft, and the monkey and the sheep helped get the raft across the river. After that, the three of them went towards the finish line. The sheep crossed first, then the monkey, and finally the rooster. Then we have the dog. The dog was dirty and decided, when he saw the river, to clean himself off and take a bath. This slowed the dog down significantly, but using his doggy paddle, he made his way across the river and entered as number 11. At that point, the emperor was about to close the gate when suddenly he heard an oinking noise and stopped to see the pig. Now, the pig was lazy, so as he did the race, he decided to have a snack and take a nap, which slowed him down immensely. Eventually, the pig did cross the river, and the emperor decided to keep the gate open before closing it for one last animal, being the 12th member of the Chinese zodiac. At that point, the emperor closed the gates, and the race was over. And that became the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac. It's a pretty awesome story. It's a cute story to tell kids, and it shows that all the different animals had different ways of figuring out how to cross that river. Some using their brute strength, some using their brains, some using cooperation. Overall, I think the stories that make up the Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, Spring Festival, whatever you prefer to call it, are all really fascinating and fun stories. It's really cool seeing this aspect of the culture and understanding why people celebrate it, why red is so important, and where these adorable animals of the zodiac come from. If you have some other festivals you'd like me to look into, please let me know in the comments below. Until next time, remember to like and subscribe. Have a happy Lunar New Year, and I'll see you at the tavern.